Good, everybody. Welcome back. Yeah, I know it's been a long time. Get off my back. So on sabbatical, we had a pandemic. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm making excuses. But welcome back to Born with a Controller, and I am here with the one and only true Trickster, Mr. Trickster, Dexter D. Lopez. How you doing, good sir?
Hello, it is I. I am feeling pretty good.
Oh, word. How's everything other than that, man? You been well? Haven't seen you for a while. Pandemic treated you good?
Yep. It turns out that the pandemic barely affected me because it just kept me inside, and I just kept being productive, and I loved it.
Yeah, that's your mutant healing factor, I assume, going on there.
Yep.
Well, you know the deal. This is Born with a Controller. We're gonna hear your story on how you became a gamer and what made you the gamer you are today. Are you ready to rock, sir?
Oh, I'm ready, Freddy.
Ooh, ready, Freddy. I like that terminology. Let's get into this. All right. So, let's go back in the time to your first memory of the first video game you ever played.
Alrighty. Well, the very first video game I've ever played, console-wise, was Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Sega Genesis.
Ooh.
It was gifted to me by the gracious host.
It was?
At least as far as I can remember.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. Yeah, I'm getting old. My memory is leaving me. Oh no. What did you like most about the Sonic the Hedgehog?
Well, when I first booted up the game, I was greeted with the loud Sega, and I was like, "Oh God, that's very disorienting." I was like, "What is this game?" And then little twinkles happened. This music starts up, and then Sonic and Tails pop up from the emblem, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm in love."
So, who did you favor more, Sonic or Tails?
I did love Sonic Speed, but the look of Tails really sold me, especially like his color, his animations. It was so good. I loved him.
Oh wow. Okay. Now, were you always the player one, or did you start off as player two?
I think I was player one most of the time, but whenever someone was over and we played Sonic 2, I've always wanted to be player two because I just like playing as a little sidekick that gets to help out the main protagonist.
It's actually badass. I've been noticing through the years that the sidekick seems like they do a lot more work to help out the main hero.
Yeah, exactly. And if Tails had his fly ability in Sonic 2, then he'd be even more helpful, but nope.
Wow. So would this be the first game you ever soloed and conquered, or was there another one?
Oh, Sonic 2 was way too hard towards the end game. I could not beat that game.
Gotcha. So,
I think the very first game I actually fully beat. Shoot. I think it had to be either Bomberman 64, obviously on the 64, or Snowboard Kids. But I think it was Bomberman.
So would you say Snowboard Kids or Bomberman finalized that DNA in your system to make you feel that you were made to game?
Oh, yes. Because even though it wasn't the very next game I played after Sonic 2, those two games were really big to me because Bomberman 64 was like a really great multiplayer game along with a good single player game. Can't remember most of the single player stuff, but it was still fun.
Yeah, that sounded kind of weird. I didn't think Bomberman really had a single player aspect to it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's in the classic Bomberman games, it's single player mode, and multiplayer mode is single player mode, but without the enemies. So it's like single player mode is not really the big sell point. It's mostly the multiplayer stuff, which is completely fine by me because the multiplayer is so cool.
So would you say that Bomberman gave you that nice challenge your brain to analyze things and stuff like that? Like, what game gave you that, type of mode where you felt like that you really had to think on this?
Ooh, that is a very good question. I think throughout most of the games that I played back in the day, there was like these little secrets and special techniques that you can do because we didn't have the internet back then.
Oh
We
no,
just
we didn't.
had like guidebooks or word of mouth.
Yeah.
So through word of mouth, through my cousins, I had to figure out like say Snowbrook is, for example. There was like special techniques that you can do that made your board all sparkly blue or sparkly green, and I wanted to achieve that so badly. And because I did so much experimentation, I found my own way of doing the tricks. It's a little harder than actually doing it, but I figured it out and I felt really good about it.
That feeling of accomplishment.
Until much later that I figured out that they pretty much teach you how to do it in the tutorial.
Now, what would you say that? What kind of negative pushback did you get as being a gamer or whatever you was into at the time? Because I know that you led up into other skills besides gaming. Like, what branched off from gaming that you was getting pushback for or anything like that? Did you get any negativity from being a gamer?
I think the only negativity I had was from some of my family members saying that I play too much games and it's not really much of a future. Look at me now.
Yes, we finally got something to fire back at all those people that said gaming leads you to nowhere.
Exactly.
Look what's going on now.
I'm a freaking coder now.
Ooh, wow. So would you say that gaming was that your gateway to finally figure out what you wanted to do with yourself as a career?
I would say so. Like, my very first love was gaming. Before animation, before comic books, it was 100% gaming. And I always wanted to do something with gaming. I just couldn't figure it out until I was in high school, and a math teacher recruited me to elect for this like coding class.
Yeah.
We were learning what's the coding language? JavaScript.
Yes.
Or was it? Oh no, not JavaScript. Java, just Java.
Just
because
Java.
apparently Java and JavaScript are totally different.
Yes.
So yeah, we learned some Java. I loved the class so much that I took advanced Java, and it definitely was a gateway to like doing Game Maker Studio. What was that one that I forget the other one, but there were like so many other game engines that I tried out after that, and the rest is history.
Wow. Yeah. So what would you say? All right, so we can go into like a this or that type thing. Like, what would you say was the best thing about learning about gaming when you did the coding and stuff like that, and what was the worst part about it?
Well, I learned from coding that I really like it. Like, even if it's like super frustrating where I'm like stuck at a wall and I don't know how to like fix the problem, it's still fun trying to figure it out, because to me coding is like a big puzzle that I have to solve that I also made. It's a weird feeling, but I freaking love it.
I like that. I definitely like the way you... So what would be the downside that you didn't like about it?
I think the only downside is that I was very ambitious, but I was very inexperienced. I always wanted to go for like the big game that I've always wanted to make, like say an RPG or an action adventure, and I always fall short because I didn't know how to do one thing or the other. Like when I tried to recreate the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World video game, I couldn't figure out like the difference between like Z depth and jumping. It's kind of a weird thing to like talk about, but if you ever try to like code a beat 'em up just 2D and not 3D at all, it's very hard.
I can imagine that. Let's say that sounds I'm getting a headache thinking about it. Oh my god. you just because that's why I stuck to writing stories and stuff like that. This is like, oh my god. So if you had a dream company you would work for, what would that be?
Ooh, a dream company. Ooh, I'm a little biased. I have to go. It's either between Nintendo or Sega. I think Sega or I think Nintendo, because I think their working practices would match up with mine, where they probably do everything very clean, very like to the book, and I
Yeah.
kind of like that.
Okay.
But with Sega, it's Sonic, and I would love to work very close with Sonic and potentially make the games a little bit better.
Ooh! Oh, that sounds shots fired. Uh oh. So, if you had the means, like if you could bring back any game from the past and revitalize it, what game would that be?
Ooh, oh man. Okay, so that's another thing. The other thing the other reason why I wanted to be a game developer is to take a concept that I absolutely loved from one game and put it into my game and make it like a little twist on it.
Okay. Oh, that's
like
a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, like going back to the Scott Pilgrim game, I wanted to recreate that, but also add in like a special attack feature that you and your friends can do together. Kind of like a together attack, like they did actually in Scott Pilgrim with the whole they taunt and then they do the whole band thing. But I wanted to expand on that. I wanted to give it like a meter. They fill up the meter. You and your friends do some kind of special button, and then they do like, I don't know, some kind of Kamehameha beam or like a special dance or something. It would have been really creative and everything, but again, that's a really big scope, and I was very inexperienced.
You know what's funny? There is a game out there that did that, but I can't remember for the life of me. But I do remember the mechanics of it, where we had team attacks. It was a beat 'em up, and when a meter was available, we would just join hands and we run around and clothesline people and stuff like that. I can't remember the game of it, but it had that same mechanic that you're talking about.
That sounds familiar too. Oh man.
It was so weird because each character had a different ability that would team up and do something with somebody. It was freaking awesome too.
Oh man, that's so cool.
I know. It's like it's just there, but if you could bring that back, that would be freaking awesome.
Oh heck yeah. I think another game that I wanted to bring back was there's already like a YouTuber who's already dabbling in this, but I wanted to try to recreate Snowboard Kids, because one, there's not that many snowboarding games nowadays. Mostly because they kind of perfected it back in the game.
Well, they have
days.
Steep is out, but it's not. It's like I get what you're saying with that, because I like those eccentric kind of games that look cartoony. And Snowboard Kids. I did an article a while back that's saying that Snowboard Kids should be revitalized.
Yeah, exactly. I seen there's a YouTuber who did the Rayman leak. His company is called Curiotic, I think.
Yeah.
He and his team are recreating some assets from the Snowboard Kids game, and it looks so good.
Yeah,
they're essentially making Snowboard Kids 3, and I love it.
That would be awesome, seeing a game like that make a comeback, because we definitely need those type of quirky and cartoony type style games to come back like that.
Oh heck yeah!
Like if Outrunners came out, that would have been awesome.
Oh yeah, all the cartoony special effects stuff. Like we need that again.
All right, so with that being said, how do you feel about gaming now versus the past? What do you feel that has been improved? What do you feel that should come back?
I have mixed feelings.
Go for it.
I'll say about the bad stuff first. So gaming now, especially AAA gaming, it feels like they're trying to make that Hollywood blockbuster, which is fine. Like graphics and all are pretty good and everything, but I don't know. Something about it doesn't really feel like an actual game. It just feels like a movie in a game, if you know what I mean.
I get it.
But on the flip side, gaming has been really big in the indie industry, and I'm all for it. There's been so many games that people have made that's so amazing. Some of them even harking back to the classics, because most people make games in pixel art, and that was the thing back then. And when people make games in pixel art, it's like nowadays they can like perfect it. They can make some special art with it. Make some weird mechanics that you've never seen before, like 2D in 3D, or like all that stuff. It's so good. Like Friday Night Funkin'. That harks back to the good old Newgrounds days of Flash games, and turns it up to 11 by putting like Pico and the Tank Man in there with awesome music, great tracking with the rhythm game. It's so good.
So if you could pick your top 5 games that are out right now, what would they be?
Most of them would
to what you like in gaming.
Most of them would be indies. Let's see, top 5. In no particular order, I'd say Enter the Gungeon. I really love that game. The pixel art is amazing. I love roguelikes because they have a lot of replayability. And it just has a lot of references. It's great. Let's see. Enter the Gungeon. I've been playing Wizard of Legend lately, so I'd like to add that in there. It basically encompasses almost everything I like. Elements, magic, wizards, cards in to a certain capacity. Dungeons, fast-paced action. I love it all. It's so good. Let's see. Let's move on to Nintendo stuff. Oh, you know what? I really enjoyed Mario Odyssey. It was really fun. The openness of the worlds, the movement mechanics, and the tricks that you can do, it just feels right. It feels like an actual Mario game, and I love it.
Dude, that sounds freaking awesome, to be honest.
Heck yeah. Oh, and staying on to Nintendo, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, heck yeah.
I'm going to plead the fifth. I'm just going to stay out of that one. I'm not touching that one, but okay. This is your list.
All right.
It's your list.
I only say Smash Bros. You know what? I won't say Smash Ultimate specifically. I'll say the whole Smash series, because that has been in my whole gaming career for like forever. Okay. From the very first one to the very last one. I love the whole series.
That is definitely fun.
I think that's 4 already, so one more.
Uno más.
Sonic Mania. I gotta put my boy Sonic in there.
Gotta put your boy Sonic in there, definitely.
Sonic Mania is the love letter to classic Sonic games, and as soon as I played it, as soon as I looked at it, as soon as I heard it, oh my god, I went back to when I first played Sonic 2, and I absolutely loved it. Oh man,
that nice nostalgia feeling, right?
Yes, hardcore nostalgia feeling. I loved it, especially when I was in Chemical Plant Zone, and I heard that remix in Act 2. Oh my god!
You're gonna make me fire it up after this interview, man. I swear. Oh Jesus! So why is that feeling? I mean, do you feel that indie games does something a little bit better than the AAA games? Like, what kind of feeling does indie have that the AAA games need to start establishing?
I think the indie games have the spirit because it's made by fans. It's made by the people who know why games work, because they've played games that made them feel good one way or another, whether it's the music, the art, the actual game mechanic. They know what makes them feel good, so they put that in their games and they get all the love into that game. And it's just good. And some AAA games don't really have that same spirit to it. That's what I feel anyways.
That is damn well said, man. That is well said. Wow. Alright, so moving on to something a little bit more mushy. Who is an icon you admire in the gaming community or industry? Or it doesn't even have to be in the gaming industry. Who is your icon that inspires you to keep on doing what you need to do with yourself? Like in your creativity and stuff like that.
Personally, I don't really have too many people I look up to.
Okay.
But if I have to say, um, I would say, shoot, probably like people like Satoru Iwata from Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those people are really good. They actually make good Nintendo games, which wasn't so damn expensive. um, let's see. Some creators who work on games by themselves, like the one who made Stardew Valley. He's a really good inspiration because, especially if you see his roadmap, how he started and how he made the game and everything, it's very inspiring. And I have a few artists that I follow too, like Mark Crilly and Jazza or Josiah Brooks. They pretty much taught me how to animate and draw. And Josiah Brooks is actually was used to do stuff in Newgrounds too, so it's like grounded in like the whole indie and gaming like background. Yep, that's the few that I can remember, anyways.
That's cool. That's cool. So as of right now, being a gamer, what keeps you gaming so far?
I think probably in my downtimes because I've been busy with animating and drawing and everything. I just look forward to, like, at the end of the day, just playing a game for myself, and I'm like, all right, I did enough work. It's time to kick back and relax with some roguelikes.
So that's your downtime to actually punish yourself in roguelikes?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why I do it.
I don't know either, because I feel like if people play roguelikes, there's some sort of masochist in there a little bit.
Yeah, I'll admit, yeah, because Enter the Gungeon and Wizard of Legend are hard. They're so hard.
God.
But like when I get that, there's two things why I continue playing roguelikes.
Yeah.
One of them is when I finally get that good run, it feels really good to just keep getting like power-ups after power-ups and just blow through waves of enemies. It just feels really good to just feel powerful in that moment.
That feel
And
of
then
accomplishment.
ultimately until I lose.
Yeah, that feel of accomplishment is actually a drunk nostalgia that I get into, actually, especially when it's a difficulty that's supposed to take you down and you get through it. It's like, wow, I did that. Yeah,
Exactly. It just feels so good, especially when like you find that one little secret that nobody else got into, or like that one technique that you finally was able to do after so much practice.
I'm glad you actually bring it up. Thinking about that, this is like a side quest question. Do you feel that it's a lovely gift from a developer when you find a secret or a discovery in a game that makes you continue the journey off sides? Like if you find like a hidden room or something like that, do you feel that as a special gift from a developer?
Oh yes, definitely. I always, like I said before, in like the classic games where there's like special techniques or secrets. It feels really good to find those things because like you didn't do any research, you didn't talk to anyone about the game beforehand. You found that by yourself, and you're like, wow, that's a really nice gift from the developers. Thank you. I unfortunately don't really get that feeling nowadays because sometimes I watch other people play the games before I get it or whatever, or sometimes it gets spoiled for me, and I'm like, oh, well, that would have been cool to find out by myself.
Wow. Yeah. Do you feel it's too easy now that since technology has advanced with video, YouTube and stuff like that, it's too easy to spoil a game for you?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, you can definitely avoid it, but it's kind of hard nowadays, especially if the game is really popular.
That is true, yeah. Now, I don't know, this might be a difficult question for you, but if you could choose one Easter egg from a game that you felt was the best Easter egg to find, what would it be?
Ooh, that is hard. Let's see. Easter egg that I found. Okay, well, there is one Easter egg that keeps popping up in my head. It's not exactly hidden because you can easily stumble upon it, but there is a couple of ice figures in the game Tales of Symphonia. Now, that game was made by Bandco Namco, so they had ice figures of, I think, Pac-Man and one other character. And when I first seen that, I was like, that seems very out of place. And then I learned that, Namco Bandai, they kind of made Pac-Man, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I thought that was really cool to find.
Oh, I can't wait to see your game and what kind of Easter eggs you're gonna put out for people to find.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna probably put a buttload of good Easter eggs in there.
That's awesome, yo. Thank you for sitting with us, Mr. D. Lopez, Mr. Trickster.
Yeah.
And we like to end this with a little words of wisdom. What are some words of wisdom or geekdom you would share with future gamers out there?
Future gamers of all shapes and sizes and color, I just want to say that if you want to play a game that nobody else thinks it's that great or anything, that's fine. You enjoy your game that you play, because if you enjoy it, well then, the game has fulfilled itself in its entirety right then and there. And for gamers who want to be a game developer, I say go for it. I think everyone should learn how to code because it is a great experience to do, even if you don't put it into a career, even if it's a hobby, like me, because honestly, I don't really think of it as a career yet until I start selling my games, but it's really good to have as a hobby and everything. And if you do want to become a game developer, just don't give up. Keep researching and remember to have fun, because that's the whole point of games.
Damn. Well said, good sir. Well said. Well, thank you again for sitting with us. That is Born with the Controller, everybody. Be sure to check out for more episodes that'll be coming soon with more gamers sharing their stories, and I hope y'all enjoyed. Thanks again, D. Lopez, for sitting with us, my friend.
Yeah.
And as always, remember, be stout.